The Earnestly Speaking podcast is a show that is founded on free-flowing conversation and may at times venture into mature subjects. Listener discretion is advised.
First Week Podcast coming to you on January 25th, 2021. Folks, it feels great to be COVID-free. Back to normal again, back to work. Feels good. Feels good to actually just get back to normal, you know? It's great. Pretty interesting weekend, if you will. But before we get into all that, this podcast you can find on Spotify, Stitcher Radio, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and we are now also on Amazon Music. Of course, this is this podcast, you already know that. So, but whatever. Championship weekend books. Guys, tell me if you've heard this before. Tom Brady is back in the Super Bowl. Number 10 for Tom Brady. 10 Super Bowl appearance. 6 rings already. By the way, he didn't. He lost to my Giants for the record. You know, my Patriots / Brady friends, a little bit of shit. You know, there was a graphic that came out. I actually shared it on Facebook earlier of all the teams that Tom Brady's beaten in the playoffs, and I retweeted it, but I put up the caption, "Not the Giants, though." Anyway, the Bucks are back in the Super. I'll say back. Well, first time in about 20 years, close to 20 years. But the Bucks are in the Super Bowl. Beating the Packers. I went 0-2 in my picks this weekend. I had the Packers to cover 3 points, and I had the over on the Chiefs-Bills game, and that did not work out. Whatever. But interesting weekend of football. Narratives to be talked about. Like I said, Tom Brady's 10th trip to the Super Bowl. You know, they're pushing this whole, like, who won the divorce, Bill Belichick or Tom Brady. Clearly, Tom Brady's winning the divorce. And, you know, the thing that annoys me about this conversation more than anything else is that, can both things be right here? Yes, Tom Brady's winning the divorce. That doesn't diminish Bill Belichick's greatness. And I think that's the problem I'm having here. Is that all of a sudden Bill Belichick sucks? Like, seriously? I mean, we're going there now? Like, Bill Belichick sucks now all of a sudden because Tom Brady had 1 year. I mean, granted, at 43 years old, but with a pretty stacked team. I mean, folks, I don't know if you guys watch football like I do, but the Buccaneers, not like they weren't a shabby team. I mean, this team was literally a quarterback away from being a Super Bowl contender. You know, last year went 7-9 with the most inconsistent one-season quarterback in the history of this league in Jameis Winston. And I say that because he led the league in touchdowns and interceptions. How the fuck do you do that? Seriously, how the fuck do you do that? Simple, by being the most inconsistent quarterback in the history of the league in one season, of course. So let's start the bullshit with the Belichick thing. Belichick's still great, and to be honest with you, considering how the year went for the Pats this year, we went 7-9. But everything went on with the injuries and the COVID stuff and losing players and players that didn't even come back to the team who opted to check out because of COVID. 7-9 actually is not that fucking bad. Like, could we use some context here? Like, put away the fact that you don't like the guy. This is not a popularity contest. It's results. Okay? The fact that we went 7-9, to be honest with you, is actually quite miraculous, considering the fact that Cam Newton was not that good this year. Jared Stidham was fucking terrible when he had a chance to play. So let's pause there on the Belichick stuff, okay? But Tom Brady's great. By the way, but, you know, what's fascinating with the Tom Brady thing, for me, and another thing that's annoying about the Tom Brady conversation is the fact that everybody on social media, oh, he's the GOAT. Yeah, he definitely is the GOAT. Like, man, y'all late to the party, dude. Like, I've been saying this shit since 2014. I was calling Tom Brady the GOAT when he had 3 rings. Shout out to Kyle Nash, who still wants to argue with me about that. But we'll he should be on the podcast later in the week. We'll discuss that. He's all mad about that. But yeah, Tom Brady's the GOAT. But that's old news. And guess what? If Tom Brady lost yesterday, he's still the GOAT. I mean, yesterday didn't change anything. It's still the same thing. He's still the GOAT. You know? It's incredible the fact he's doing it at 43 years old. But let's not kid ourselves, too. The Buccaneers are a really, 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 really good team. Like a really, really good roster. Okay? You put any average quarterback on that team, they're probably winning 9 and 10 games at least. Okay? If you put Dak Prescott, they probably win, at least 10 games. Like, stop. I'm not diminishing Tom Brady. I'm just giving you facts here. But, yeah, he's the GOAT. He's been the GOAT. That doesn't change anything. You know? And then the other narratives and takes from this game, Packers and the Buccaneers. The Aaron Rodgers stuff. Oh, he's terrible. He can't win a big game. Okay, the dude has a ring. I know it's forgotten because it's been so freaking long. It's been 10 years, literally a decade since he had won a title. It's one of the most forgotten titles in the history of the league, considering how long ago it was. But Aaron Rodgers is still great. And by the way, Aaron Rodgers isn't recently lost that game yesterday. The coaching staff, Matt LaFleur, coached a horrendous game yesterday. Their defense gave up big plays. That touchdown to Scotty Miller, the end of the first half. That's Aaron Rodgers' fault. The play call, 4th and goal at the 9-yard line with about 4 minutes to go in the game, or how minutes was left in the game, and Matt LaFleur decides to go for the field goal. Like, you have arguably the most talented quarterback in history of football, in my opinion, the most talented quarterback in football history. The ball's in his hands, and you're giving the game to Mason fucking Crosby? Like, are you kidding me here now? Matt LaFleur, come on. You live for these moments. I want the ball in my best player's hands. My best player isn't Mason Crosby, dude. Let's be clear about that. That made no sense. And because of that, they deserved to lose the game. They deserved it. Even the little holding call, I didn't feel sorry for them. You know why? Because when you make stupid calls like that, play calls like that, you're playing to lose. Sorry. Dumb decision. Because you know what? If they don't convert the fourth and goal to the 9-yard line, okay, so the Bucs has the ball 4 minutes to go, pinned back up on the 9-yard line. Like, really? Makes no sense at all. These analytic coaches, like, get over. Enough with the fucking analytics, dude. Enough with the analytics, dude. How about best player, Aaron Rodgers, get me a touchdown? How about that? Makes some sense, huh? But the whole Aaron Rodgers narrative, another annoying thing. Oh, he's not great. Dude, Aaron Rodgers is the most talented quarterback I've ever seen play football. Yeah, but he has to overcome this. Matt LaFleur and the coaching staff. Dumb. And the worst part is, if Aaron Rodgers, who I guarantee wanted to go for it, were to overstep Matt LaFleur's decision, Aaron Rodgers is a dickhead now because he's like wasn't going. He was going against his coach. He's the jerk. Just saying. It's a bad narrative. It's a really bad narrative. But it's not his fault. Like, okay, the 3rd and goal, when he should have ran for a touchdown. Okay, I can give you an argument there. But the entire game, they literally put in the game into the defense who gave up a touchdown at the end of the first half. Like, we're doing that, right? Makes no sense. Matt LaFleur lost the game. Matt LaFleur lost the game for the Packers. Bottom line. And who knows how many more opportunities Aaron Rodgers has to get a crack back to the Super Bowl. That's the weird part. He's gone to, what was it, 3 straight NFC Championship games? 3 straight? How more chances is he gonna have? I don't know, man. I mean, the NFC is like well, every year we think the NFC is getting better, and it's obviously solid, but it's not as dominant as we thought it was. But how many more? I thought this is his best chance to really win a title. I mean, or at least get back to the Super Bowl, honestly. But because it's not like Tampa is like this dominant team. They're a really good team this year, and certainly a Super Bowl favorite, one of the favorites. But they weren't this dominant, team that you had to fear. They're beatable. But again, I don't know. It's one of those things, man. AFC side of things, I went 0-2 in my picks. I had the Packers, like I said, the Packers to cover. That loss. Had the over. I had the under actually on the Bills Chiefs game, and that screwed up too. There's nothing more to be said. I think Buffalo will be back here next year. I'll be close to back here. It's a good roster. Josh Allen's really good. Sean McDermott's a great coach. Good roster. I mean, barring any seismic decisions made in the AFC, I don't necessarily see why Buffalo couldn't come back here. Certainly, the opportunity is there. Patrick Mahomes, man, he's just good. I mean, wow. So all I can say is, wow, Patrick Mahomes, he's the man. He's the man. And I guess I'm rooting for the Chiefs because I want Andy Reid to get another ring. Andy Reid deserves more titles, more respect on his name. It'd be nice to close his career out with a couple of Super Bowls. Pat Mahomes is amazing, though. Wow. Off a concussion last week and still doing what he did yesterday. Unbelievable. Nothing more to be said about that. I wasn't really plugged in these games also this weekend because I was at my mom's house. I visited her for the first time in a couple of weeks because I was out with COVID. So the game was on. It was mostly background noise. So I kept checking in the game, of course, while we're having conversations, and then I stayed at her house till probably about the beginning of the Bills game, and then I got home and had to take care of duties at home, to put the kids to sleep, had to get the baths and dinner and all that. So the game was on, but it was background noise, It's I didn't plan properly. But again, I've been stuck in the house the last couple of weeks and really need to see mom, see how she's doing, visit her. It's great. Other than that, solid weekend. Worked a little bit. That's all it. But yeah, Bucks and Chiefs. As Jeff Perlman said in his blog today, the Steve DeBerg Bowl. I like that. That was good. So, anyway, this weekend we had a couple passings, really major passings in the world of sports and the world of media. Hank Aaron passed away, age 86, on Friday. Hank Aaron was a hero of mine. Hank Aaron was somebody I really admired. And I really believe as we get further and further away from his era, from the 60s and 70s, he becomes more underrated. And I say that because, this guy at one point broke Babe Ruth's home run record, which held for a long time until Barry Bonds beat that, obviously. Barry Bonds is my all-time favorite baseball player, so I'm not necessarily mad about that. But, I feel like Hank Aaron, even with everything he accomplished, he feels underrated. He really does. And it's just, read some of the stories about him, growing up and playing, Major League Baseball in the civil rights era. I'm more and more fascinated about that. We hear about Jackie Robinson and the struggles he went through and other players of that attitude. Hank Aaron, the same thing, playing in an era where he wasn't necessarily accepted 100%. Now, granted, he's a baseball player, so he probably get a little more respect than most. But to have to play under that backdrop, it's fascinating stories about him. Hell of a guy. I heard he's a really good guy too, especially. But yeah, he's. If we're talking about top 10, 20 baseball players all time, I mean, he's definitely in the conversation. I mean, the impact, and to break Babe Ruth's record, it's stood the test of time. And there's a lot of controversy too about him taking the vaccine, and he had gotten COVID and he took the vaccine and he passed away right after. I'm not going to speculate on that, to be honest with you. There's a lot of misinformation out there. I'm not saying this is not true or not true. I don't feel comfortable just diving into that, So, rest in peace, Hank Aaron. And then we had Larry King. I do media. Larry King's one of the people I looked up to growing up. Media mogul, journalist. Larry King is probably, if not the greatest, definitely top 3 interviewer I've ever watched and listened to. He was always engaging, very smart, always never made about himself, though, when he would talk to his guests on his show. Now, I used to watch Larry King live on CNN back in the day. And watching him talk to whoever he had on the show always made people more interesting than they really were. Like, even some celebrities I didn't really care for, like, he would somehow make them sound interesting. Seriously. Some great interviews he's had through the years. Never made about himself. He was definitely someone who knew how to drive conversation in a way that, again, didn't make about himself, and yet was able to get what he needed out of his guest. One of the things whenever I think of Larry King, I always think of my late uncle, who passed away this year, about 6 years now. I remember when I would go there and visit my cousins or sleep over there for summers, whatever. My uncle always watched CNN, and he always watched Larry King at night at 9:00 at night, East Coast time, of course. And I would say that he's probably one of the reasons why I started watching Larry King, because I used to watch. I'd watch some of it with him sometimes. And, I was younger. He would fall asleep to it with CNN on with Larry King end of night, but. Yeah, he was phenomenal, and he even had a show, his own media platform, and he had his own other show. It was a show he used to have. He had on Hulu. I did watch a little bit last year. Did current politics mostly. I enjoyed that also too. It was a good show. But man, when Larry King got COVID, though, he got COVID too. And I remember when the announcement came in earlier in the month when he had COVID, I was really worried because Larry King's 87 years old. I mean, I know some people who in that age group have recovered, but I mean, you get COVID that age, that's a little rough. But yeah, like Hank Aaron, another giant in their respective industry. And man, he was great. Oh man, he was phenomenal. So again, rest in peace to Hank Aaron, rest in peace to Larry King. And I mean, it's no better way to segue out of this, but yeah. Let me see what else. Some news dropped today concerning WWE, WWE Network rather. Peacock. Well, WWE Network will be moving to Peacock. Basically, the network will be moving on their platform. And I saw the news this morning. I was like, whoa. Okay, what is this supposed to mean? But yeah, a lot of consolidation going on with these companies, man. It's crazy. I'm actually going to read the article a little bit from Variety.com, and I'll see what you guys think about that real quick. But here's a breakdown so far. There's still a lot of details still being worked out. So here's some of the details on the move. Okay, so from Variety.com. NBC and Universal's Peacock soon will be the only place to watch WWE Network in the U.S. WWE and NBCU reached a multi-year agreement giving Peacock exclusive streaming rights to WWE Network for American viewers. The over-the-top wrestling entertainment service's existing U.S. subscribers, about 1.1 million in total, will be migrated over to Peacock Premium, where they'll continue to get access to WWE Network, but will pay 50% less per month while getting full access to the version on Peacock Premium tier with ads. Peacock will launch the network on March 18th, 2021, when Peacock will begin the rollout of more than 17,000 hours of WWE Network new, original, and library programming, both on demand and on a new 24-hour channel. The NBCU streamer will have all WWE live events for no additional charge, including WrestleMania and SummerSlam, with Fastlane, the first event to stream on Peacock on Sunday, March 21st. WWE Network will be available on Peacock Premium for $4.99 a month, half the price of the current pricing at $9.99. The no commercials Peacock Premium Plus plan, which costs $9.99 a month, will also include the network. They're going to share more details in the coming days. So basically, they're doing what Hulu did. Hulu has the rollout of stuff. So if you got Hulu with ads, you pay cheaper, with like $5 or $6 a month. If you got Hulu without ads, which is what I have because I can't stand the ads, to cry out loud, you pay about $3 or $4 more. To be honest with you, save money because okay, so for me, I have Peacock, but I have the free tier Peacock. I had planned on actually getting the paid tier at some point down the road. But haven't done that yet. I obviously, being a wrestling fan, I do have WWE Network, so that's obvious. And I pay $10 a month for that. It's actually is the one streaming service. I said if I had to pick only one, any of those services I do have, that'd be the one I'll keep because I love my library wrestling. For me, I might as well just stay to the $10 a month plan because I'm already paying that. But what I get in return for that is I get access now to Peacock's overall library. There's a lot of shows that I want to watch. The Office has moved there recently. So you could save money if you pay $5 less, but I don't want ads. I don't want ads anywhere. I don't want ads on the network. So, and there's a lot of opinions on this. I know some of the guys on my wrestling podcast, Take 3 Wrestling Podcast. I know my buddy Mike, he's a little concerned about how it will look, the layout. I'm really hoping, my biggest concern, and I share this with Mike also too, is the placement. Will they mix WWE Network along with all the other stuff, Peacock material, and will be harder to search for stuff? I'm really hoping, and I think this will going to happen, that WWE Network will have its own hub, so where you go there and then you section off away from the rest of the Peacock material, because I don't want to, because WWE Network has a lot of stuff, man, a lot of shit, a lot of original program I want to watch, and I don't want to get lost looking for shit while I'm on a Peacock platform. That's my biggest concern. So Mike was saying that to me earlier, and I totally agree with him. I'm really concerned about that. But yeah, it's a pretty exciting thing, I guess. Vince McMahon made $1 billion in this deal. So W Network will be no more as is, but will be moving to the Peacock platform. Looking forward to how it looks. That's my concern, is more so the visual, because not all of these platforms honestly do a good job with the presentation. Like Hulu's, I used to hate Hulu's presentation for a long time. That's improved since then. Netflix, a lot of these, companies, even Netflix to some degree, Netflix is a little bit cleaner. A lot of these companies, it's so sloppy in the way that things are organized. I'm just hoping that the network, W Network, has its own section in the Peacock hub. So where it's, once you go into the WWE section, you're away from everybody else. That's my hope, because I don't need to be confused where everything is at. Because one of the good things about having a WWE Network by itself and for its own is that I know where everything is. It's just that. Now I got to share that with Peacock's overall platform, and God knows what else they sign on there too. You know what I mean? So I know there's rumors about NBC Sports Network also probably going down at the end of the year, and a lot of other stuff we're hearing about. NBC making some major changes, but this is one of the major changes, obviously. And Mr. McMahon paid off $1 billion richer today. Good Lord. It's amazing how wrestling is still viable today. I love it, obviously, but I'm one of those rarities. I'm one of those hardcore fans that loves it. Even before I came back to watching the current product, I got the network because of the library. I love the old stuff. It's amazing that even 2021 pro wrestling is still viable. Amazing. It really is. Anyway, last thing before you go. Tomorrow, my son, after nearly a year since COVID became a thing here, will be returning to school physically. We kept him out of school for all this year up to this point because of safety and because of the fact that our schedules, my wife and I's schedules, actually worked out to where, we can do that. We can facilitate him being home doing virtual while it doesn't affect our work and other things. The problem is the first quarter he was fine. He did okay in the first quarter. He did well, considering. But this last quarter, the second quarter of the school year, he struggled a bit, and his grades has been slipping. And obviously we're trying to balance out. Trying to not get. I'm not worried about us getting sick. No, we already got sick as it is, but trying to, worry about us getting sick more so our parents getting sick. But hey, we did all this. We were very careful with our son, with ourselves and everything, and we still got COVID. Added to the fact that he's also, grades are slipping a little bit. And we had a teacher conference recently. I mean, he's got to go back to school. This is that simple. He initially fought us on it for a little while, but now he's okay with it. But yeah, so I had to get back to wake up early in the morning, 7 o'clock in the morning, 7:30 in the morning, and driving to the school, which is fine. Gives you a chance to get out of the house, and what it does for us too, also at home, it opens up everything for us again to do things. Not being locked in the house and having to be in the house while he's in school. We can actually do things as a family without him sometimes, otherwise at school. It opens up more stuff for us to do. So it's a positive thing across the board, really, honestly. So anyway, that's it for today. A little quick one. We have a couple podcasts coming down the pike this week, so look out for those. I'm on Twitter at EJChristian7, earnestly.net. Check out my latest notepad has dropped it today. Notepad, of course, is like a couple hot takes for the week. Things on my mind, randomness. So until then, we'll talk soon. God bless you guys. Take care and see ya.